Welcome back to Winners and Losers, the show that looks at the highs and the lows from around the Premier League this weekend. Or on this show, it's Boxing Day because an extravaganza of football happened yesterday. I'm joined today by Zach Jalab because Christopher Hamill is nowhere to be seen. Zach, you've braved up. You've faced up to the camera after what was a grim day for Chelsea yesterday. Yeah. You were extremely rattled, my friend. What happened?
Yeah, we lost 3-0 to Arsenal. That's what happened, mate. It was super rough. I said to you just a minute ago, I've not felt as annoyed or affected by a result like this in a long time. Since like doing Football Daily and doing stuff with Chelsea, I've been able to kind of like, whatever the result is not let it affect my day or weekend. Yesterday I went to bed early. I left every group chat I'm a part of. Didn't text anyone back. And it was pretty rough because Chelsea were pretty rough. I've not seen us play like that in a while, where at least in similar situations last year when Chelsea had lost games, I came away from most of them feeling like, actually, we've played pretty well here. We've just not taken our chances. A lot of it last year felt like we weren't putting away our goals. Tammy might have missed a few. We're setting up situations and not finishing them. Whereas the past few results, the one against Everton, the one against Wolves, even realistically the one against West Ham, we weren't really taking or even creating any chances. And it's all coincided with Hakim Ziyech being injured. Ever since he went out of the side, we have no chances. I mean, the stat that really kind of explains it all is Chelsea didn't have a shot on target until about the 85th minute when we scored the goal from Tammy Abraham.
That's mad, isn't it?
And if you're not getting any, if you're not testing the keeper, if you're not shooting on target, we had 19 shots in the game. Only 3 of them were on target, and that all came after the 85th minute. It felt like Chelsea had waited 85 minutes to actually play football. Because those last 10 minutes, those last 5 minutes of the game, we suddenly went, oh, Chelsea might bring this back to 3-3. We got a penalty. Jorginho missed it. You know, he's now missed his last 3 penalties for Chelsea. Or he's missed 3 penalties this season for Chelsea. So I think he's kind of like, he'll probably step out of the way now. For maybe Mount will start taking them. Werner is the actual penalty taker, but he wasn't on the pitch on the day. And yeah, it wasn't good to see. I mean, Chelsea dominated statistically in terms of we had more possession, we had more shots, but realistically, that doesn't really mean anything. I thought Arsenal were actually good. I felt like it was building up as well for the past week or so, or few weeks. I've kind of said like I didn't feel good about this game. You know, Arsenal hadn't been playing well, and I don't know what it is, but if you're a team that haven't been well, haven't been good, and you need a result, you want to play Chelsea. For some reason, West Ham last season, Everton last season as well, when big Duncan Ferguson was in charge, beat us 3-0. For some reason, we kind of seem to be the team that allowed teams to kind of bounce back. But to Arsenal's credit and Arteta's credit, his team selection was good. I like the fact that he was starting Emile Smith-Rowe. I like the fact that it was Saka. And who was the other youngster playing? Martinelli. That was a really good. It was a change and something that maybe Lampard didn't quite expect. I thought Emile Smith-Rowe was really good, and I'll be very surprised if he's not starting their next few games. But from a Chelsea standpoint, it just really wasn't good enough. Like, we started slow. Yes, maybe it wasn't a penalty. In my opinion, it wasn't, but for others, it is. And you got to just say it is what it is. The ref gave it. Until you go 1-0 down, and then obviously it's a great free kick, and you know, whether he crossed it or he meant it, it ends up as a third goal. The issue for Chelsea is we weren't even getting into situations for us where we had the opportunity to score. That's what frustrates me so much, especially when, you know, Chelsea spent £200 million in the summer. Yeah. Kai Havertz is on the bench. I know he's not been good, and that's fair enough. That's a tough decision to make, and probably the right decision, considering what's been happening recently. And I'm expecting to probably play against Aston Villa. But then Timo Werner, like, for the past few games, it's very, very clear that Timo Werner isn't great in build-up play. He may get better. He is still young, but for a left winger, especially in this Chelsea team, you require a lot of action on the wing.
So how do you fix that? You want to play him through the middle?
Yeah, that's my opinion. Like, I think Lampard should maybe dabble with a 2 up top kind of situation, Tammy and Werner, because Tammy, I also didn't think necessarily Tammy did anything wrong yesterday. He didn't really get anything he didn't really get anything. Yes, his touch may have not been the best, but apart from that, there was no opportunity for him to have been like the only opportunity he got, he scored. But you saw the difference when Callum Hudson-Odoi, a out-and-out winger, came onto the pitch and showed what he was about. He made a massive difference, and especially in that last that second half and that last 20 minutes or so, it just, you saw that once the winger was out there, it felt like you could actually attack through both wings rather than hoping Christian Pulisic could kind of do it all. And that's the thing. Chelsea had a good 20 minutes that first half before they scored the penalty. It was the penalty that kind of flipped it on its head. And we have spoken quite a lot about Chelsea, so I do have to say as well, like, Arsenal deserved to win that game. Like, I'm not saying that because of Arsenal were lucky. Like, Arsenal did deserve to win that game. It baffles me that a midfield of Xhaka and El Neni could win a game, but it did. And I thought Rob Holding had a fantastic game defensively. Kieran Tierney might have been his best game in an Arsenal shirt, to be quite honest. When he was, instead of having to play a centre back as a centre back in a 3, he played left back in a 4. Hector Bellerin was okay. Not probably better than he has been recently, and even that front 3. I mean, Martinelli is a real player, but I'm just still a bit distraught. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I'll jump in just as more of a neutral perspective, I guess. Look, we had the argument on Sunday Vibes yesterday, didn't we, between Lampard and Arteta. We went through a number of categories. If you haven't watched it already, please go and watch Sunday Vibes, because it is a really interesting debate. I kind of fell more on the side of Frank Lampard. I think he is doing a better job right now. Obviously, Arteta has been struggling horribly over the last few months, but holes are starting to appear, as we said on Sunday Vibes, slightly in this Chelsea outfit, just in the way that he gets players on the field, because he spent so much money and signed so many players in the summer that you almost can't put them all on the same pitch at the same time, and that does cause some friction. I think if you were to go to a 2 up front with Werner and Tammy in the same way Leipzig played him with Poulsen, you might see more success out of him, but then I think that does unbalance your midfield quite a lot. I'm not sure you can play just Mason Mount and Kante as a central midfield pairing and then 2 wingers. So does that push Mason Mount out wide? I think that definitely causes a bit of an issue for Frank Lampard. He's definitely got a problem as well on the road. That's 3 losses in a row, right? Away from home. Yeah. That's the worst run, I think, in nearly 2 years. So something to be worked on there. But I don't think there's any need to panic. If I was a Chelsea fan, I wouldn't be panicking right now. You are 9 points off the top of the table, but such is the speed of games that are happening right now, you can recover that very quickly in 2 or 3 game weeks, very, very easily. Before I carry on, let's listen to what Frank Lampard said after the game, because he clearly wasn't a happy bloke.
Not good enough. First half, not good enough. Second half, yeah, good enough, but mountain to climb. And when you attack a game the way we did, attack's definitely the wrong word, but things like the Saka goal happen because you don't deserve luck. We fought second half, people that came on added speed, energy, intensity into our game, but that should be a given from the start.
Why do you think you were off the pace today?
Don't know, that's one for the players. I'll take responsibility on the outside, but the players have to take the responsibility because the message was clear. This is a dangerous game for us. Talented team, back against the wall, London derby. We're in a good position where we could probably go second, and they're in a position where they may be looking downwards. That's a dangerous combination. The players knew that. We prepared for the game. But if you go out and play at 60-70% or a few players that play at that level, you're not going to win any Premier League game.
So yeah, I think Frank probably did get this one wrong on the day. I still think he's the man to take Chelsea forward. Don't get me wrong. People will be saying in the comments he's not good enough. We've got to get Frank out. I think they're talking absolute nonsense. I think Arteta needed this result incredibly badly. If this result had gone against him, I think it might have been curtains for Mikel Arteta. But Arsenal fans will now swing back in roundabouts. They'll say, look at what he can do when he puts the right players on the pitch. He's had these players all season. He could have played these players all season, but he's been picking Willian. Now Willian's out. I think he'll probably stay out.
Yeah.
Gabriel to return. Obviously, he picked up COVID, or at least was in close contact with someone that had COVID, so he's been isolating. He's a big addition to this team when he comes back. Aubameyang, might slot in over Lacazette up top with those three behind him. That would look pretty exciting in my book, especially when Thomas Partey rejoins that midfield, probably over Granit Xhaka, and plays alongside Mohamed El Neni. So it's not all doom and gloom for Arsenal fans either. But I think let's just take this with a pinch of salt. If they can put a good run together, then we can start talking about Arteta in a bit more of a positive light, because let's face it, yesterday was the first time this season they've scored more than one goal in the first half of a game, and we're at December the 26th. So I'm not getting too excited if I'm Arsenal. I'm not getting too down if I'm Chelsea. I think this was pretty much like one of those results that everybody goes, ooh, that's interesting. Good to banter Chelsea fans with. I was hammering you in the group chat, let's be right. But Frank's still the man. Arteta did enough to keep his job. What did you think of the game? Not quite as statistical as usual, because I'm not going to lie, we were all boozing yesterday. Not together, individually, because of COVID, and watching football. If you don't enjoy it, get over it.
Now, other games happened as well on Boxing Day, most notably Manchester United versus Leicester City and Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace. We'll touch upon United first, because it was looking good. It was looking good for United at times. Bruno Fernandes, I think right now, I have to hold my hands up, is probably the best player in the league, for sure. He's fantastic. Watching him play, and probably one of the best signings of the decade, to be quite honest. To take United from a team who looked really bad in both areas, and had Marcus Rashford basically doing it all for them last season, and to then add this player who, to be quite honest, coming from the Liga NOS, a lot of questions over that league and whether there is a good quality there. And taking his kind of statistics of basically a goal or an assist every single game and putting it straight into the Premier League, I would have thought it would have dropped off. But he is ridiculous, and someone I'm actually very jealous of at times, with the way.
Sorry, mate, you got Havertz. So.
Yeah, indeed. And he doesn't seem to get injured either. He's very.
Oh, touch wood.
Touch wood indeed for you guys. He's very good. But yeah, no. So you looked good, and then what happened, Jay?
I mean, I thought we looked okay. I'm not even sure we actually played that well yesterday. I think we did enough to win the game. What Man United are doing really well at the moment is, even when they're not playing well, is they're creating plenty of big chances. Obviously, the Rashford header 2 minutes in has to hit the back of the net. His one-on-one with Schmeichel, it's a good save, but it's not the cleanest strike. I think he should be looking more for placement than power in that situation. And Leicester didn't really create much at all. The Vardy chance at the end is probably their best chance in the entire game. Barnes' chance is a really, really good strike from, 20-odd yards out. Leicester didn't create much, but they did dominate the ball. Manchester United, not so good on the ball, but created much better chances. So you could argue it was potentially a fair result. I thought Manchester United deserved to win that game with the quality of chances they produced. Bruno Fernandes, I'm tired of talking about him because he's a freak. He's unbelievable. That's 31 goal contributions in 28 Premier League games since he joined Manchester United. He's on course for
How much did you pay for him again?
I think 55 million.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
He's on course at the moment for 20 goals and 15 plus assists. Because that was his 10th Premier League goal yesterday, and we're only at Christmas. And he's playing as a almost false 9 now. He's so advanced. It's really, really nice to see. Edinson Cavani, when he came on, that interplay between him and Cavani dropping deep and then exchanging roles was lovely to watch. But at the back, it's still a calamitous mess. We could have Madame Tussauds Waxworks back there, and we'd be doing a better job. It really, really pains me to say that the defensive organisation appears to be getting worse. I don't know how it's happened. Nevertheless, we're still third in the league, and going away to Leicester is a very tough game. Leicester are one of the best teams in the league, second position when we met them. So United have a game in hand on Leicester, can jump ahead of them if they win that game. It's a big if, because the league is so volatile this season. But if you'd have offered me at the start of the season, Man United to be, let's say, second place if we win our game in hand at the turn of the year, just 3 or 4 points off Liverpool, I'd have bitten your hand off, ate it out, and then thrown it down the road. Honestly,
oh my God.
I would have been so keen for that to happen. Yes, we've dropped out the Champions League, fine, but we're also in another Cup semi-final. That's 4 consecutive Cup semi-finals for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And whisper it, he seems to be doing a pretty good job at the moment, doesn't he, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? People were saying Arteta, Ole, Lampard. Well, at the moment, Ollie is doing the best job of the three if we're all comparing them. And I know Ollie's been in charge of teams in the past. He's been in management for 10 plus years or whatever. But he was and still is the most resoundly battered amongst the press and people on social media, I think.
Yeah,
so,
if you look back to a few weeks ago, it's actually quite mental when it was there was strong talk about Ollie out or Ollie leaving United or getting replaced. And it's kind of mad now to look at it and be like, he's challenging for the title, but by the looks of it,
I don't think he's going to challenge for the title. I'll be honest, I don't think he's going to challenge for the title. He's not got a defence for it. I think he would need to sign a serious centre back in January and probably a defensive midfielder to be able to challenge for the title. And I don't think that's going to happen. You're going to see United sign a load of players from South America before Brexit hits. Would be my personal opinion. But nevertheless, very happy with that Manchester United performance. Should we touch on the Villa game as well, Jalab? Because Aston Villa right now,
mate.
Probably the best team in the league to watch, in my opinion.
Yes,
Maybe alongside Leeds, even though they can see.
I think more so than Leeds. I honestly think more so than Leeds. Like Chelsea face Aston Villa and then Manchester City as the next two games. I'm more worried about the Villa fixture than I am the City fixture. Yeah, honestly.
Well, Villa as well. I think yesterday became only the second team this season to put up more than 5 expected goals in a game. They were unbelievable.
10 men down.
Ollie Watkins, as we said for the last 18 months, is going to be an amazing signing for a Premier League side. Looks unplayable. Back to goal, dynamic, wins headers, great with his feet, involved in build-up play, linking with the likes of Jack Grealish. Shout out the Exeter lad, because he is a phenomenon for Villa right now. Yes, they're 6th in the league, but with the game in hand, if they win it, they can jump up to 3rd. Dean Smith's just got on playing bloody brilliant football. Hats off to Dean Smith, best English manager in the game right now.
We should also mention as well, like Bertrand Traore, a couple of literally 2 weeks ago, I think Hamill absolutely battered him on Sunday night, and he must have earned it as well, because since then he's been unreal. He's scored, I think, in every game he's played since, and even he was really good yesterday. He eventually came off to kind of get another centre back on after Tyrone Mings was sent off for a second yellow card. I thought the first yellow card was a bit harsh. I mean, Zaha starts pushing him.
Oh, it's nice to see a feud like that, though, isn't it? That's football at its best. Feuds like that. I've missed them.
But it was odd because Mings literally did nothing. He didn't really even foul him, and he still got booked for it. But anyway, then he got sent off. I mean, that's probably a good thing for Chelsea, because if there's one thing you'd say about that you could target, is maybe their defence, and if he's not playing, it's a little bit weaker. Emi Martinez, another unbelievable signing for them. Ridiculous in goal. He's made a save after save at the moment, clean sheet after clean sheet. And you would have thought, after going 10 men down, because Crystal Palace did have a few chances that they may have lost, but to keep a clean sheet and score another 2 more goals whilst 10 men down is ridiculous. And I think we've spoken about Jack Grealish a lot this year, but we just have to continue doing so. That you run out of superlatives to describe him, to be quite honest. The guy, when he's on the ball, looks like one of the best in the league.
Definitely.
With his dribbles and even the fact that he's now been able to add this end product of goals and assists. And he was probably unfortunate not to get a goal in the first half, because there's a time when he went through on goal and kind of put it straight at the keeper and had the strength to battle off a defender.
Well, the assist for Ollie Watkins, who was offside, mate. The assist for Ollie Watkins, or I don't think he was offside, but it was like something went wrong in build-up play, or he hit the post or something. I can't remember exactly what it was. I had a couple of drinks at this stage, but yeah, he hit the post, didn't he? It was like a reverse pass, and then he hits the post, Ollie Watkins. That's one of the best balls I've seen this season. It's absolutely ridiculous, mate.
And then you forget as well, Ross Barkley is a guy who's not been playing recently because he's been injured, and he added so much to it. It's an Aston Villa side which have gone from relying so much on Jack Grealish to do everything to now actually having a few players who are all able to kind of chip in. Last season they didn't really have a striker. I mean, Vesley got injured, Samata wasn't that great. They've now got Ollie Watkins, who's brilliant at kind of everything. He can carry the ball, he can win the ball, he can be the target man, the hold-up player, whatever you need him to do, he can do. He can make him the runs behind the defence. And on that right flank, they've now looked like they've got a decent winger in Traore. McGinn doing a lot of work in that midfield for them, and then Douglas Luiz looking ridiculous in that DM position. Matty Cash, the signings they're making at the moment and the way they played yesterday are really good, and especially against the Palace team that I know they haven't been great recently, but they are very normally defensively sound. And so to watch them play football at the moment is honestly a pleasure at times. And Jack Grealish, like, I know he signed that 5-year contract, and maybe if Villa continue to be, if Villa finish in the top half of this table, he may stay. But you just think a top 6 team could do with him greatly. I mean, Arsenal would love to get him.
Yeah, but they're not a top 6 team, Arsenal, are they? If I was Jack Grealish, I'd be saying, I'm staying at Villa, thank you very much. At the moment, they're playing better football than Arsenal. They're higher in the table. I think they've got a very good shot of qualifying for a Europa League spot this year. If I'm Jack Grealish, I'm staying at Villa all day long. If he can play in the Europa League with Villa, that's like his dream. I know that Champions League football probably, in his mind, is the end goal, but fair play to him. Sign the contract. I think he said last year he wants to get into Europe with Villa. He's potentially going to do it this season. The owners have backed the manager.
He could be a one-club man.
And Dean Smith is producing absolute miracles, mate. Even by expected goals. They've got the second best attack in the league, I think, by expected goals. The second best defence by expected goals. They should be third in the league by expected points. They are absolutely sensational this season, Villa. And Dean Smith, I just think he's doing such a good job. He really is doing such a good job that he needs more praise. Because at the moment, he is definitely flying under the radar as sort of like underrated managers go. Just brilliant management, brilliant players, and hats off to Villa because they are exciting to watch. Is there anything else you want to add today, Jalab, before we go? Because there's some big games today, right? It's the Tottenham Wolves this afternoon.
Indeed, Tottenham Wolves is going to be interesting. 2 teams who, of recent times, don't really want to attack fully. I mean, Pedro Neto and Podence, if they're fully fit and start against that Spurs. Against Spurs could be lethal. Again, Harry Kane and Son, if they're both starting, could be lethal. It's 2 teams that are going to kind of be like, go on, which team wants to attack first and let each other have the ball. Liverpool play West Brom, I think.
Yeah, Liverpool, West Brom,
right?
Tottenham Wolves,
That could
West
be
Ham,
a slaughtering.
Mate, there's so many good games because the day
slaughter.
after that there's a full fixture list as well, and like just Chelsea playing 48 hours, like it's so good. There's United Wolves as well in there. Then United got a Villa. This is unreal. I'm absolutely buzzing with the Premier League at the moment. So if you did enjoy this video of winners and losers, go and watch Sunday Vibes. As I said earlier, we compared Mikel Arteta and Frank Lampard in a number of different categories to see who would come out on top. Nothing else to say really other than thanks very much for watching. I hope your Christmas is going really well and that you're not mixing households, because just stay in one so we can all get over this. Thanks very much for watching. See you later. Bye.